In 1999, a meeting took place between Tony Blair, British Prime Minister, and Jacques Chirac, French President. This meeting was a source of concern for the United States of America because the purpose behind it was the establishment of a European force of 60,000 soldiers that operates without the support of the United States or NATO. But as a response to this decision, Bill Clinton's administration in the US Department of Defense warned that if this army is created, this will lead to the dissolution of NATO. After these statements, everyone was afraid and the idea was abandoned. Years later, French President Emmanuel Macron repeated the same idea, but this time, the situation is different. Why is this idea of a united European army important to Europeans? And what are the risks that made them think of establishing this army? And the important thing is this idea easy to implement, or is it impossible? I'm Chakid Chaban. Welcome to a new episode of Money Talks. First, we will talk about the dangers that Europeans see as a reason for their adherence to this idea, and we will not talk about Russia, but about reasons and concerns that are no less important than it. The first of these dangers is China. When the US-China war will break out in the next few years, Europe must have a role in this war. This is in order to protect its interests, increase its profits, and gain a role in the New World Order. This can be deduced from the words of the European Commission President when she said that the European Union must be a strong geopolitical union. Among the dangers are also the Middle East and African regions that are expecting wars in a turbulent situation that results in large numbers of immigrants, who constitute an economic burden on European countries. According to the opinion of the Europeans, they should have a large military force to intervene in all parts of the world. There are also fears of the United States of America, and it is represented by the return of Trump or the arrival of someone else with the same thought, which will lead to clashes with the European Union. Let us also not forget the alliances such as the Triple Security Partnership or the Five Eyes Union, all of which are a source of concern for Europeans. There is another very important reason, and that is the economic reason. Over the past 60 years, Europe has gained most of its power from soft powers, and one form of soft power is the economy. But the problem is that the economic strength of the Eurozone is not the same as before. In 1981, the economies of the Eurozone represented 21% of the global economy. But by 2022, that number had fallen to 12%, and is expected that by 2050, this number will be 9%. Because of all these reasons, the European Union must resort to military forces to defend its interest. But is it possible to establish this army? No, because in the European Union, there are many factors that prevent them from implementing this idea. The reasons for the impossibility of this army are many, but we will talk about the two most important reasons. They are the historical aspect and the military-economic aspect. Historically, we know that the European Union is not a country like China, Russia, or America. It is a mixture of nation-states and countries that are dominated by nationalism. It is not easy for them to accept the idea of a foreigner controlling their military power, especially if this foreigner is a historical enemy. And the history of European countries is full of blood. You should also know that European countries do not have the same military powers if this army is ever to be established. This means the dissolution of NATO, which represents a fear of the relatively weak Eastern European countries not getting American support if a Russian attack ever happened. Suppose that European countries were able to overcome this nationalism, then they will face another problem, which is armament and the economy. The military forces of the European Union are not few. The number of soldiers is approximately 1.26 million, and military spending, which constitutes only 1.5% of each country's budget, has a total of $231 billion. But the problem is that the economic systems that make up this number differ. For example, there is no compatibility in military armaments. Many of these countries depend on American armaments, and this constitutes an overlap between these systems. The thing that can be inferred from all of this is that the call of the French to create a new military force, but at the same time, not the response of all the Eurozone countries. It is the possibility of creating a new union in Europe, and this is what French President Emmanuel Macron said when he spoke about this idea. Our question to you, as usual, is: do you think that a united European army will be established? In the end, if you liked the episode, support us with a like and a share. See you in the next episode.